see at that short startup, there's many ways of doing the same kata, and all the Okinawan masters doing it a little bit different. They all have their own expression. What is interesting is that in European circles, especially on Facebook, people just get criticized for doing things their own unique way. Information is thrown around that you don't know what you're doing, that's not how the master is doing. But there's no one way of doing a kata. And let's have a look how the different Okinawans from Goju-ryu. There's many different styles. I'm more based in Kyokushin, so my way of doing katas is a little bit different. I'm going to show you the crude version that I'm enjoying at the moment on the very end of that clip. But let's have a look how the Okinawans from Goju-ryu performing the kata and what's the differences between them. In the first clip we see Masaaki Ikemiyagi Sensei from All Okinawan Karate Kobudo Federation performing Seisan. Very strong performance, very dynamic, yet natural. As you can see, when he moves through the stances, he do a little adjustment if he needs to. It's not fixed, he's not very stiff in those stances, he moves naturally, everything is very powerful. It looks like he knows what he's doing, you know what the kata movements are for, and he's just executing them with the full power and full length of a technique, so even over-exaggerated a little bit, but this is the performance of the kata I like the best from those clips that you're gonna see. And in my own training I like to focus at the moment on that strong performance and dynamic execution. Really like this one. In the second clip we see Morio Higaonna Sensei from the traditional Okinawan Goju-ryu Karate Federation, and Sensei Higaonna's execution is a little bit smoother, but I think it's a little bit more rigid on the stances and it's very upright. He's moving through the stances with fluidity, power, but for me a little bit too slow, but this is my own preference. So he's focusing on all the movements, driving through them really smoothly. In the next section we're gonna see that he's using a lot more hip engagement, so he moves through the stances, moving their hips and moving their knees. So from the Dachikodachi now he's changing to Zenkutsu and coming back, and like I said, makes a little bit longer breaks. It's a little bit smoother, but in some sections, so the techniques itself, but the stances are very rigid and his posture is overextended for me and too stiff on the spine. In the third clip we can see Tatsuhiro Hokama Sensei from Kenshinkai Goju-ryu organization, and you can see that timing of his technique is completely different to all the other katas. It is much faster, his techniques are much more fluent and done at speed. His strikes and hits are kind of pulled back a little bit, and he's got a much different emphasis on the slow down movements than the other performers, and his stances are much more natural and much more fast paced kata. So this is interesting performance. I couldn't find a name for the sensei, but he is from a Meibukan Goju-ryu organization, and as you can see his performance is much slower compared to other sensei. It's done in a way that you can see exactly what's going on and how his body works. For me it's a little bit too rigid in the stance changes, but everything looks very calculated and designed to show you the body mechanics and how the positioning changing and what's gonna happen now, and that going through that structure, body structure, is a little bit too slow for me, but definitely is clear for like judges and competition style performance. Again, the techniques looks a little bit different to Hokama Sensei and other people, but overall very interesting performance from the sensei here, and definitely high level and very skilled performer. So in this clip we see Choju Kiyuna from Okinawan Goju-ryu Shodokan organization, and his kata is strong but a bit more natural, and so when you see that sensei is stepping through the stances, if he needs adjustment, he doesn't hesitate, he just moves the leg. His stances are not rigid, techniques are at a nice speed, a little bit different timing than the others. Again, strikes and hand techniques and kicks are very precise and nicely timed, so it's quite faster than the previous one. And yeah, very natural, not over straightening the spine, it's more in a natural position, and strikes and kicks are in a full range. I like this execution, but it's not as good as the first one, in my humble opinion. So in this clip we've got Tatsuhiro Hokama again doing a different kata, I think it's Sanseru, and he's demonstrating his own take and his own expression after the years of training, how he feels that kata, and you can see that it's amazing speed. Personally, I've been told off many times by people online that sometimes I'm doing kata too fast and it's not within the structure of the official kata performance, which, as you can see, every sensei have a different expression and whatever works for them. I'm sure that people criticizing Sensei Hokama that he doesn't know what to do, because that's the nature of the internet. But not my type of performance, but if it works for him, that's great, and this is what he discovered over the years of training, and this is the performance he enjoys, and that's all fine. As you can see on the clips, there is no one way of executing the kata. Each sensei got their own performance and speed and strength and power into it. It's just their own expression. If you are a black belt and you've been training for some time, you've got some katas you specialize in, you spend, like myself, 15 years on one kata, exploring it, then I think you are allowed to explore it and express it the way you find it working for you, especially if you're doing it with a partner, because the stuff that is working in the air, executing kata, it's not always translating into a work with partner, and those katas gonna change. I used kata as a grappling method, so with addition of strikes, so I need to have that strength to pull people out of a alignment and positioning so I can strike them and drop them down. At the moment in my own training, I'm focusing more on a crude power. That's what I enjoy at the moment. It obviously changes with time. I went through the sophistication stage and then more technical stage, and now I just enjoy really hard working kata that gives me a exertion and kind of translate into what I do during a sparring and kata grappling. And like I said before, I like the kata being a grappling tool with addition of strikes. If you enjoyed this clip, please hit that subscribe button, notifications, and also on. All your support means a lot to me. We've got over 5,000 people. Let us grow to 10,000.